Thought I'd take a moment tonight to talk about how my switch works and see if I can get a good little shot of it. I've been putting 70 of these together, and I learned a few things, like the bridge that goes over the magnet in the body here can be a little finicky. On a number of switches, I've had to push it up against with some tweezers, so I'm going to see if I can figure that out. It's the type of thing that you encounter when you put a bazillion of them together. You know, most of them are fine, but I want to say about a quarter of them I needed to manually fiddle with this bridge to material. Let's see if I can work on that. But people do wonder how this switch works, and I just wanted, this particular one came out really see-through, I guess you could say. You can clearly see the magnet on the inside. That's the body magnet. And then we've got the magnet in the stem here on the bottom. And in case you're curious, this is how the switch sits. And then there's a levitating magnet here. Let's see if I can tap on the focus. There we go. So the body magnet and the stem magnet are attracted to each other. They want to pull each other together, right? So when you're pressing on the switch, you've got the magnetic separation feeling. So if you've ever held two magnets together and then pulled them apart, you know, it's that sort of feeling. And the only trick with that is when you go far enough away, it's maybe not enough force to push the stem all the way back up, especially with like a heavy keycap on top there. So in addition to that, I've got the levitator. And that's just this little piece here that sits over the stem. And it's a magnet that opposes the one in the body. So with every key press, I've got this nice instant bump that's right at like 0.001 millimeters or something like that. It's right away you feel the bump. And then it just gives way to almost nothing. It falls right off a cliff. I mean, it's not a cliff. It's more like a very fast drop, right? And what the levitator does is it smooths out that curve, so it just smooths it out. And also it lifts the stem right back up when it reaches the bottom so that it can't get stuck down there. It's always, you know, it's at its strongest when it's close like this, and it's at its weakest when it's up right here. So it doesn't impact the initial feel of the switch. It really has an impact later in the force curve. And for some reason, this one came out really quiet. And I think it's because there's, like I said, this little material here that bridges over the magnet, because it prints like this, and the magnet goes in there up in the top. I think it's just, it's got like a little bit of stringing stuck up there. See that little bump there? I bet it's hitting that. And that's the type of thing that would wear away over time, just from being rubbed so many times. And then it would stop being silent, and it would make a nice thwack sound again. But a way around that, of course, is you can just put a teeny tiny thin layer of silicone caulk right there, and I mean the thinnest of thin, and that will silence the switch completely. And I mean completely, like you can hear it right now. It doesn't even make that sound with the silicone caulk on there. So there you have it. This is how my switch works at a detail view. I'll get a couple close-up shots here. I'll try to anyway of the movement mechanism. Remember, the body magnet stays fixed while the stem slides up and down, well, down and up rather. And the levitator, which is actually optional, you don't have to have it on there, especially if you have a shorter travel. It'll pop back up with shorter travel, but it opposes the magnet. So here we go, just a few. And it's really hard to push it slowly because you get to that initial force to overcome the separation, and it just wants to slam down right after that. It's a very, very tactile feeling. Very, very tactile. And it's very easy to put together, too. There's a trick to it, though. It's not something that's obvious. But I'll make a separate video about that. And I actually put 70 of these together, so I know how it goes. It's not too bad. It did take me like 2 hours to put them all together, though. So it's not a fast process. But it's not hard on your fingers or anything. It's just a little tedious. You know, well, and that could also be, I mean, look at the size of my finger compared to these magnets, right? If you have smaller hands than me, which most people do, I mean, I've got sausage fingers. You'll probably be able to put these together a lot easier than I do.